Hello everyone, welcome to our Let's Play series of Pillars of Eternity 2. This is Colonel RPG as usual, and I'm very happy that you chose to join me today as we talk to Ngati over here. Slim for an Almawa, the man before you boasts warm of... What? Avuncular. Oh, right. Avuncular probably comes from... Avian, maybe? I don't know. Avuncular features. In gray patches, his tightly curled hair. Oh. Rather, yes. In gray patches, his tightly curled black hair. That's how it goes. He smiles warmly at your approach.
Greetings, friend, and welcome. You stand before the Keeper of Memories.
He bows slightly at the waist. You seem old, for a Haumawa.
Stranger than present company. Captain, we are as diverse, as unusual, and as beautiful as fish in the sea.
That isn't surprising. I have strode many nations, spoken to many kith, learned their tales and their traditions.
He smiles.
Not every Huana takes so great an interest in the other peoples of Aora. Fewer still have the means to pursue that interest.
We gotta find Kana. Let him know someone's trying to steal his angle.
Pretty sure Ishii and I were thinking the same thing.
You keep memories?
Don't everyone keep memories?
Shori... That's a good point.
Those vanquished in the Crucible leave behind their weapons and armor, both often laden with memories of life. It falls to me to keep and protect those trappings and recollections.
How do you preserve memories from these items?
We first wash the items in the pool, and in doing so, give the memories to the souls of this place. Thus do their deeds live on beyond them. Most items carry little more than the strongest memories of their use.
He plucks dismissively at his tunic, as if to indicate its baseness.
A few, however, abundant with essence and charged with purpose, retain unusual attributes. These I care for, curate, and purvey to those worthy of their enchantments.
With a warm smile, he runs a finger along one of the blades. So these would be the artifacts Homaire mentioned.
The Crucible recreates battles and conflicts of old, that today's hunters may hone their skills. The pool of memories is the library for these histories. These stories aren't told to the Crucible. Instead, items held by those who performed great deeds echo with these accomplishments. The pool of memories absorbs the past from them. As a contender, you will be expected to recover at least one of these relics. I can point you in the right direction, but first I must ask, which of the faces of the hunt do you seek to appease?
This voice actor is just going way out of his way to make his lines flow in interesting ways, although he clearly should have re-recorded some of them. Tell me about more about the faces.
The faces represent the tripartite existence of Tuamawai, the Slayer God, the Seeker God, the Survivor God. Foreigners conflate them with the Changeling for good reason. He cannot be reduced to any single thing. The Stelgar embodies the Slayer aspect, the Seeker is represented by the Spider, and the Boar reflects Tuamawai's Survivor aspect. It is right and proper to respect all three, but all Crucible contenders must eventually make a choice and accept their true face.
Tell me about the face that resembles the spider. I didn't actually notice there was one spider. I think it might be this one. It has to be. The Stelgar and the Boar, so this would be the Boar and this would be the Stelgar. Yeah.
The seeking face represents the mastery of the chase, the understanding that slaughter without gain or purpose is wasteful. It is the hunter that must think in seasons, not seconds. Young warriors think the spider odd. It sits still, it does not seek, is oft said. But the spider understands the art of the seeker so well that its prey comes to it.
What about the Stelgar?
That is the slaying face. The aspect of Tuamawai fixated on the mastery of the life or death dance, where all things are decided. Deadly in a group or by itself. Hungry or sated, the Stelgar is possessed of uncanny focus and purpose. A wise hunter admires and fears the Stelgar in proper measure.
What about the boar?
The boar is the surviving face, the aspect of Tuamawai that reminds us that victory without survival is almost always meaningless.
Almost always.
While all manner of cowards excel at survival, the boar is both courageous and resilient, traits all hunters should aspire to.
Why can't a warrior embrace all three phases of the hunt?
In a lifetime of conflict, one can, should, and, with the onset of age, must. But, in the Crucible, one cannot advance without championing a single aspect.
Okay.
Have you made your decision, then?
Well, I like the Seeker, maybe, more than anything else. And also that would probably be for perception. Accuracy, maybe. Whereas Slayer might be for might, and surviving might be for whatever gives you fortitude, which is might, but also the other one, constitution, or whatever. So I'll go with the Seeking. Yeah, I need to find the artifact for the Seeking phase.
Every year we lose hunters to the Kohatkana Expanse. Usually they're tracking last year's hunters. But nowhere in my notes have I found out what first enticed Kith to go prowling around that corner of the island. Not surprisingly, the Expanse has become a sacred place to the Seeker. Return with something a failed Seeker before you left behind, and the spider will be pleased.
Oh, I don't need to choose. I mean, maybe I do need to choose, but that's not the point. Okay, what do I do to kill... What do I have to kill to find an artifact for the slinging face?
A group of drifters claiming to be eager contenders showed us their true colors. Days ago, while most of the arena slept, they helped themselves to one of our Slayer relics. Unfortunately for them, the boat they came in on sunk, and it is a very long swim to anywhere beyond the auspices of the Faces.
He chuckles quietly, sharp teeth glinting between his lips.
The thieves were last seen heading toward Wakupoko Lowveld. Slay them. Return the relic to the Pool of Memories, and the slaying face will be most pleased.
As I said, going way out of his way to make his speech sound varied. I'll do anything to find an artifact for the surviving face.
The Tiebe o Waiapu has long had a reputation for being inhospitable. Yet, the sounder of boars that call the valley home seem to flourish there. Were you to return with proof that you had tread the valley's singular dangers, the surviving face would be well pleased.
I am ready to begin the hunt.
Galarde, I will see the western doors opened for you.
You will indeed. I'll see you later, I suppose. Humere?
Contender?
Never mind. There's a lot of never mind in this DLC for exiting dialogue. Huh. Okay. So, outside world. The loading screen certainly indicates something like that. Oh yeah. Ooh. My cursor. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to Pingaka Ravine. Ravine might be the ravine word rather than a fancy thing. Thick, humid jungle gives way before you to empty air. A vast chasm divides you from further progress, descending to a churning white froth of water below. A bridge of wound rope crosses the gap, planks of dark wood supported between the strands. We can search for another route, or we can examine the bridge first. The thick rope has been well anchored, each line wrapped and tightly tied around one of a pair of heavy stones. The knots have long since crusted over solid. There's no untying them. The sun has bleached the wooden planks to a dull gray. Okay, the quality of the wood, Adair. The wood looks good for the burning, but little else. It will not likely hold much weight, says Adair. That's bad. That's bad. We can also reinforce the bridge with magic, though. Takeo, you have Tanglefoot. Takeo rests a hand upon the damp loam. I'm actually not sure what that is. Moments later, vines sprout forth, wrapping around the rope and wood alike and spreading across the bridge until it looks a natural part of the jungle. How about the integrity of the planks? We have the quality of the wood, integrity of the plants. The construction of the bridge, though. The edges of the wood seem somewhat splintered rather than cleanly cut. It seems no attempt was made to seal the planks. This is a woodworking thing. The edge of the wood, what's known as the end grain, is the one that soaks in the most moisture. So if you sealing the wood, you need to make it everywhere, though. Not just in the end grain, but sealing the wood basically means that moisture won't go in and rot the wood from the inside. So that's why you varnish it and do other things. The rope seems of stronger make, but could stand to be reinforced. Let's carefully cross the bridge, then. You step onto the reinforced bridge, and it bears your weight with reassuring stability. You begin the crossing. The ropes feel secure beneath your hands, and you move confidently along the structure. With a final step onto solid ground, you complete the crossing and find yourself among the thick foliage of the central island. There's a central island? Is this an island? I mean, technically, is it? No, it's not. Rivers don't constitute an ocean. The forest thins into scattered glades along the western cliffs of Kazuwari. Trees stand sentinel, overlooking the sheer stone plunge into the Deadfire Sea. You turn north, only to enter a large open field ringed with woods and peppered with small clumps of dense forest. Clouds of insects hum over the rotting remnants of discarded carcasses. The path before you looks roughly disturbed. Let's investigate the scene then. Though it's difficult to discern from the chaotic wreck of dirt and grass, it seems like multiple sets of Kith tracks came from the direction you did and continue towards the coast to the northwest. Another set of tracks, these from some manner of clawed beast, come from inland and follow the same path as the Kith tracks. What about the beast tracks? What are they? The tracks appear to have been left by a Stelgar, a very large Stelgar. The tracks overlap the Kith tracks and are overlapped by them in turn. It seems the creature was stalking those who would stalk it. Really? What about the Kith? 4 different sets of tracks appear, including a set that looks Orlan. The others are more difficult to narrow down to a specific type of Kith. The tracks seem pretty close together, as if those who left them were moving slowly and carefully. So we can follow the Kith tracks or the beast tracks in the direction they came from. Let's go with that. Let's follow the beast tracks. It's slow going, but Adair manages to follow the faint trail through the dust and tall grass. The tracker leads you northeast along the tree line. Adair draws your attention to a pile of Stelgar droppings just off the trail. We could mask our scent with this. Less likely we'll end up getting ambushed by the beast that way. Whatever saves us from being the creature's next meal, I'll do it. Let's do that. You dabber your equipment with an ample helping of the droppings. You're not sure whether or not it masks your natural scent, but it certainly adds to it. Sure. Continue tracking the Stelgar here. You continue along the Stelgar tracks. They're difficult to make sense of. This path seems to have seen the passage of multiple animals going in both directions. If you didn't know better, you'd think they'd meant it to be confusing. You hear a faint rustling in the tall grass nearby. It sounded too localized to be wind. We're gonna run to the tree line. Another partial success. Discarding caution, you bolt towards the forest cover. Several somethings, something pounds through the grass behind you. Unless you want to do an ellipsis there and then just rephrase into several somethings pound through the grass behind you. But the beast attacks from the side, knocking Shodi to the ground and ravaging your fellow traveler's side with its claws. Even as you move to help, the beast leaps away into the undergrowth. And Shodi now is maimed. She's basically done for the while. Nothing that a good night of sleep can fix. You assist Shodi to her feet as she clutches a hand to her bleeding side. You catch a glimpse of muscular, furred forms moving between the trees. So I can attempt to give the lurkers the slip, but that would be sleight of hand, and I definitely can't do that. Because we are bad at it. We can throw a spark cracker into the grass as a distraction. You stop, crouching low to the ground, your back against the tree. You carefully light a spark cracker and lob it into the underbrush. You hear the cascade of tracks and pops as the explosive ignites, followed almost immediately by the rattle of grass parting before pouncing beasts. Large beasts. It takes the Stelgars a moment to realize their mistake, but then the pack of large hunting cats, each shoulder high to an elf, turns. The pack turns towards you, fur bristling and claws flexing. They stalk towards you. They do indeed. We're hunting some Stelgars, and Shodi needs to sleep. This is not good. She was just absolutely devoured. My god. That minus 15 all defenses, and never mind the rest. And she only has 1 injury. Minus 10 accuracy, minus 15% maximum health. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Can I go over there? No, I cannot. Can I just turn my back to this lovely Stelgar over here? The savage Stelgar. I'm sure. Can I? Probably not. Oh, you're weird. Good. I like weird. Let's go ahead and get a greater Maelstrom right over here. And then Shodi can do the perception, please. Right off the bat, Shodi taking tremendous amounts of damage. Let's just wait until she's done with that. Nope, she's not doing that. She's protecting herself. She did it. Okay, so she's out of the... Oh, that is bad. What the heck are you doing there? You're gonna take all the damage.
This does not work.
Good. Okay. Let's see. I want you to be paralyzed because you're weird. What the heck is wrong with you? That guy's just going very slowly over there. Dare, or not Dare. Takeo is taking a lot of damage there. We should be fine. She's tanking one of the Stelgars. Or actually, it's a tiger. Speaking of tiger, we have a greater Stelgar over here. Was he always here? I say greater, but it's just great. Man, that guy takes forever. They are very strong. But we did it. Pretty good. We got a little bit of a... That's too late, Takeo. Don't do that. Don't bother. There we go. Good stuff. Shodi. She's back. Whew. Yeah. Cinder Shard. What the heck is that? It's a quest item. Oh. The Slaying Face wanted that. As the bright glow approaches, the rhythm of a heartbeat, not your own, thumps in your head. The light coalesces into the muscular features of a hulking Aumawa striding towards you.
Oh, God!
The spirit shrinks away from the glow with a terrified yelp.
Watcher!
The soul roars as if in challenge. He points a thick, gloved finger at you.
I wanted tougher, but you will suffice.
Who are you?
Who are you? I am the Slayer, the fastest and the strongest. That you had to ask speaks ill of your mind.
So what do you want?
Return your trophy to the old man. There is much left ahead of you to hunt, and far more to kill.
The lines of his face lose what definition they possessed. blurring into a featureless mass until the entirety of his form evaporates into thin air.
Well, wasn't he fun?
Yeah, any idea who that was?
He suggested he was the slaying face. Or at least the slayer. Poor attitude aside, he knew of Ingari, and he knew what you're up to. You should be careful.
He seems to want us to kill someone, or something.
Do you think this is why Gallowayne didn't want you here? Maybe the Slayer wants you to kill the gods!
Let's go.
I wonder if we'll run into more like him if we continue with these trials.
I wonder that as well. Huh.
Naturally.
Naturally, we will. It's an interesting thing. I wonder if these DLCs definitely deal with the gods, every one of them. Moving on then. Was this a random encounter, or was it specifically the thing that we interacted with on the northwest of the island? Because I don't think it was a random encounter. I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, it was that thing. Okay. So moving on to Cohatekana. Or Cohatekana. Cohatekana. I don't know, because it's got a tilde thing. It's not actually a tilde. That thing is a, it's like the Kaut. It's just a line, and I don't know what it means, or what it is. I said tilde. I was thinking umlauta rather than tilde, because I can tell a tilde from a line or an umlauta. Anyway, the deeper you travel into the island's southwestern wilds, the denser the jungle becomes. The air thickens, heavy with humidity, and the impenetrable canopy allows only the faintest light from the sky above. The path narrows into gloom before you, the persistent drone of insects subsiding into soft whispers on the edge of hearing. Tendrils of gray fog creep across the roots and vines, slowly reaching as you push further into the island's expanse. The air grows opaque, and quiet murmurs carry on the faint breeze. Just as it reaches its thickest, the foggy morass parts like a curtain, revealing again the path before you. It forks to the left and the right, each path looking roughly as passable as the other. But we can inspect these paths, because we're good at it. Well, there is anyway. There is no hint of tracks here, neither animal, wilder, or kith, as if this trail has never before been traveled. The paths to either side seem uncannily similar, almost symmetrical, as if a pane of glass runs between them, one the reflection of the other. The trees bend above like long, many-jointed legs, and their limbs entwine with vines into an impenetrable tangle. Well, we're gonna take the left trail. You follow the trail, and quiet rustling sounds murmur from the obscurity of the undergrowth. The path forks again before you. Between the two paths, you find a simple statue, a stone pedestal topped with the many-eyed face of the seeker. Let's examine the statue. The statue has clearly been standing on this fork for ages, the lines weathered, the details worn away by the elements. Moss grows across the base, and vines hang down from the spider-like head. The seeker's eyes stare at you, unblinking. That's not a spider-like head. I'm sorry, that does not look like the head of a spider. I realize he's got some warts in his forehead, but that doesn't mean it's a spider. Even if they were eyes, which they probably are meant to represent, it's still not a spider-like eyes. Spiders don't have noses. Anyway, yet everything above or ears for that matter. Yet everything about the sculpture, down to the draping foliage, seems impossibly symmetrical. Everything except for one eye missing from the statue's right side. Let's interpret the statue's meaning. Apparently that's a thing we can do. The seeker is rendered with an eye missing, or perhaps the eye has been removed since the statue defaced by some other contestant in the island's games. Shodi examines the figure and says, "Strange, isn't it? The seeker being presented as blinded, partially so anyway. Think the seeker's cult respects the blind any more than the seekers, or than the slayers the feeble?" It's a good point, actually. Let's just take the left trail. At least we know what wall we're hugging. The jungle grows darker as you press ever more deeply into its heart. The path forks again before you, and while the split looks slightly similar to the last, you can tell it bears enough differences to suggest you're making progress. Yes, we are, but we're also out of time for the day because we are out of time for the day. So for right now, I'm Colonel RPG, and this has been Pillars of Eternity 2. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and leave a comment, like the video if you want to see the next episode come out sooner rather than later, but above all, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next episode. Bye-bye.